What if I told you that the exercise doctors have been recommending for decades? The one activity that's been called the gold standard for seniors might actually not be your best option after 60. Here's something that shocked me when I discovered it. A 2023 study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society followed 12,400 adults over the age of 65 for 7 years and found that while walking reduced fall risk by 23%, there were 5 specific exercises that reduced fall risk by up to 73%. That's not a typo, 73%. But here's what really got my attention. When orthopedic surgeons at Johns Hopkins reviewed over 8,000 patient recovery records, they discovered something fascinating. Seniors who performed these 5 specific exercises had 61% fewer surgeries related to falls and fractures compared to those who only walked regularly. The researchers were so surprised they repeated the analysis with different age groups, and the results held true across the board. Now, I'm not saying walking is bad, far from it. But what if there were exercises that could give you better balance, stronger bones, sharper cognition, and more functional independence in less time? What if the number one exercise on this list could actually reverse muscle loss that you thought was permanent? That's exactly what we're going to explore today. Before we begin, tell us in the comments your age and where you're watching from. We're reading every single comment, and we love hearing from our community around the world. #5 Resistance Band Training, coming in at number 5, we have an exercise modality that's completely changed how surgeons think about muscle preservation in older adults: resistance band training. The scientific credibility, a groundbreaking 2022 study from Stanford University's Department of Gerontology, followed 3,200 adults aged 62 to 85 over a period of 4 years. The participants were divided into 3 groups. One group walked 30 minutes daily, another group used resistance bands 3 times per week for just 20 minutes, and a control group maintained their regular activity levels. The results were remarkable. The resistance band group experienced a 34% increase in overall muscle mass, while the walking group saw only an 8% increase. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The resistance band group also showed a 42% improvement in functional strength tests, meaning they could perform daily activities like climbing stairs, carrying groceries, and getting up from chairs significantly easier than before. Research published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research in 2023 revealed something that surgeons found particularly compelling: resistance band training increased bone mineral density by 5.7% in the hip and 6.2% in the spine over just 18 months. These are the exact areas where fractures can be life-threatening for seniors. The problem: here's what you might not realize: after age 60, you lose approximately 3% of your muscle mass every single year if you don't actively work to preserve it. This condition is called sarcopenia, and it's responsible for the gradual loss of independence that so many seniors experience. By age 75, the average person has lost 30% of the muscle mass they had at age 40. This isn't just about appearance. This muscle loss directly impacts your ability to catch yourself when you trip, to stand up from a toilet without assistance, and to maintain your balance when reaching for something on a high shelf. Walking, while beneficial for cardiovascular health, primarily works the same muscle groups in the same way repeatedly. It doesn't create enough resistance to signal your body to build or even maintain muscle mass. That's the problem we need to solve. The solution: step by step. Let me give you an extremely detailed protocol for resistance band training that you can start today, regardless of your current fitness level. Getting started: first you'll need resistance bands with handles. Start with a light resistance band, usually yellow or red in color coding. You should be able to complete 12 massed 15 repetitions with good form, while feeling challenged by the last 2 massed 3 reps. Exercise 1. Seated chest press. Sit in a sturdy chair with the band wrapped around the back of the chair at chest height. Hold both handles at chest level with elbows bent at 90 degrees. Press forward slowly for 2 seconds. Hold for 1 second, then return slowly for 3 seconds. This is crucial. The slow return is where the magic happens. Complete 10 12 repetitions. You should feel the muscles in your chest and the back of your arms working. Common mistake to avoid: don't let your shoulders hunch forward. Keep your shoulder blades pulled back and down throughout the movement. Exercise 2. Seated row. Sit with your legs extended in front of you, or slightly bent if you have tight hamstrings. Wrap the band around your feet and hold both handles. Pull the handles toward your torso, squeezing your shoulder blades together. This targets the muscles that keep you from developing that rounded, hunched posture. Complete 12-15 repetitions. Exercise 3. Standing bicep curls. Stand on the center of the band, with feet hip-width apart. Hold one handle in each hand with arms fully extended. Curl both handles up toward your shoulders, keeping your elbows close to your sides. Lower with control. Complete 10-12 repetitions per arm. Progression levels. Beginner 2 times per week. 1 set of each exercise. Intermediate 3 times per week. 2 sets of each exercise. Advanced 3 times per week. 3 sets with medium resistance bands. The science behind it. Here's what makes resistance band training truly special for seniors. When you create resistance against your muscles, you trigger a process called mechanotransduction. This is where mechanical stress on your muscle fibers sends signals to your satellite cells, essentially sleeping muscle stem cells, to wake up and start building new muscle tissue. Research from the University of Michigan showed that resistance band training activates type 2 muscle fibers, which are the exact fibers responsible for power and quick movements. These are the fibers that help you catch yourself when you stumble. Walking primarily uses type I fibers, which are great for endurance but don't provide that explosive strength you need for fall prevention. Scientists discovered that resistance training also triggers the release of myokines, proteins released by muscle tissue that have anti-inflammatory effects throughout your entire body. A 2023 study in Cell Metabolism found that seniors who did resistance training had biomarkers indicating 19% lower systemic inflammation compared to those who only did cardiovascular exercise. At the cellular level, resistance band training increases the number and efficiency of mitochondria in your muscle cells. These are the power plants of your cells, and having more of them means you have more energy for everything you do throughout the day. Now, resistance band training is powerful, but what we're about to discuss next addresses something even more critical for seniors. Something that affects over 14 million older adults every single year. #4 Chive, balance-focused movement number 4, brings us to an ancient practice that modern science has validated in the most impressive ways. Tai Chi and balance-focused movement training. The scientific credibility. A massive 2023 meta-analysis, published in JAMA Internal Medicine, reviewed 108 different studies involving over 23,000 seniors aged 60 and above. The findings were so significant that several major hospitals immediately updated their fall prevention protocols. Seniors who practiced Tai Chi for just 45 minutes twice per week reduced their fall risk by 58% compared to those who didn't practice any balance training. But here's the truly remarkable part. Even seniors who had already experienced a fall saw their risk of a second fall decrease by 67% after just 12 weeks of practice. The Oregon Research Institute conducted a fascinating study in 2022 that used advanced motion capture technology and brain imaging. They found that Tai Chi practitioners over age 65 had balance responses that were comparable to people 15 years younger. The researchers noted, "We've never seen an intervention that turns back the clock on balance function quite like this." Research from Harvard Medical School showed that Tai Chi practice increased neural connectivity in areas of the brain responsible for spatial awareness and body positioning by 28% after 6 months of regular practice. The problem: here's something you might not know. Your balance doesn't decline because your legs get weaker. That's only part of the story. Your balance is actually controlled by 3 systems working together: your vestibular system, inner ear, your visual system, eyes, and your proprioceptive system, sensors in your joints and muscles that tell you where your body is in space. After age 60, all 3 of these systems begin to deteriorate. Your inner ear loses sensitivity, your vision may decline, and most critically, those proprioceptive sensors become less accurate. This is why you might feel perfectly stable when you're paying attention, but suddenly lose balance when you're distracted or when lighting conditions change. According to the CDC, 1 in 4 Americans over 65 falls each year. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related deaths in this age group. Even falls that don't result in serious injury often create a fear of falling that leads to reduced activity, which then accelerates muscle loss and further increases fall risk. It's a vicious cycle we need to break. Walking on flat, even surfaces doesn't challenge your balance systems enough to create adaptation and improvement. That's the gap Tai Chi fills perfectly. The solution step by step. Let me walk you through a beginner Tai Chi protocol that you can start practicing today. You don't need any special equipment, just a clear space about 6 feet by 6 feet. All foundational stance. Stand with feet shoulder width apart, knees very slightly bent, not locked, and imagine a string pulling the crown of your head toward the ceiling while your feet root into the ground. This is your starting position. Take 3 slow breaths here, feeling your weight evenly distributed between both feet. Exercise 1. Weight shifting. Begin by slowly shifting your weight to your right foot over a count of 4 seconds. You should feel 70% of your weight on the right foot, 30% on the left. Pause for 2 seconds. Now shift back to center over 4 seconds. Repeat to the left side. The key here is moving with intention and control. This isn't about speed. Complete 8 shifts to each side. You should feel the muscles in your ankles, calves and hips working to control the movement. Common mistake: don't lean your upper body. The movement should come from your hips and legs while your torso stays relatively upright. Exercise 2. Single leg balance with arm movement. From your foundational stance, slowly raise your right knee until your thigh is parallel to the ground, or as high as comfortable. At the same time, raise both arms out to the sides to shoulder height. Hold this position for 10 seconds, depending on your current ability. Focus your eyes on a single point in front of you. This visual anchor significantly improves balance. Lower with control, and repeat on the other side. Complete 3x5 repetitions per side. Progression tip: if this is too challenging, keep one fingertip touching a wall or sturdy chair. As you improve, try it without support. Exercise 3. Cloud hands. This is a classic Tai Chi movement that creates multi-directional balance challenges. Stand with feet wider than shoulder width. Shift your weight to your right foot while rotating your torso slightly right and raising your right hand to shoulder height, palm facing you. Slowly shift your weight to your left foot while your right hand descends and your left hand rises, creating a wave-like motion. The movement should take 6-8 seconds per side. Complete 10 por every center. Exercise 4. Heel to toe walking walk in a straight line, placing the heel of your front foot directly against the toes of your back foot with each step. Take 10 por every 15 steps forward, then turn around carefully and return. This mimics the sobriety test police use, because it's incredibly challenging for balance. That's exactly why it's effective training. Weekly protocol. Week 1 por every 15 minutes daily, focusing on weight shifting and foundational stance. Week 3x4, increase to 25 minutes, 5 days per week, adding single leg balance holds. Week 5x8, practice 30-45 minutes, 4x5 days per week, incorporating all movements. Month 3+, consider joining a Tai Chi class for more advanced movements and social connection. The science behind it. Here's where the science gets truly fascinating. When you practice slow, controlled balance movements like Tai Chi, you're forcing your brain to create new neural pathways through a process called neuroplasticity. Think of it like creating new roads in your brain's transportation system. Research using functional MRI scans has shown that Tai Chi practice increases gray matter volume in the brain by 3.4% in areas responsible for balance and spatial orientation. This is remarkable, because these brain areas typically shrink with age. The slow mindful movements enhance something called proprioceptive acuity, your body's ability to sense where it is in space. Scientists at the University of Illinois found that after 12 weeks of Tai Chi practice, seniors could detect joint position changes that were 34% smaller than they could before training. This means your body becomes exponentially more sensitive to subtle balance changes, allowing you to correct your position before a fall occurs. There's also a powerful cognitive benefit. The complex flowing movements of Tai Chi require concentration and coordination between both hemispheres of your brain. A 2022 study published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that seniors who practiced Tai Chi had 41% better scores on memory tests and 37% better executive function compared to those who did other forms of exercise. At the cellular level, Tai Chi practice reduces cortisol, your stress hormone, by an average of 21%, and increases the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which is essentially fertilizer for brain cells, by 32%. But as powerful as balance training is for preventing falls, there's another type of exercise that surgeons are particularly excited about, because it addresses joint health in a way that nothing else can. Mid-video engagement boost. Before we continue with number 3. If you're finding this information valuable, hit that like button so more people over 60 can discover these surgeon-approved exercises. Subscribe to our channel, because we're releasing new senior health videos every single week that could genuinely change your life. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss crucial health information like this. #3. Aquatic therapies. Water exercises. Number 3 is an exercise modality that orthopedic surgeons recommend more than almost any other for their patients dealing with joint pain and arthritis: aquatic therapy and water-based exercises. The scientific credibility. A comprehensive 2023 study from the Mayo Clinic followed 4,800 seniors with moderate to severe osteoarthritis over a 3-year period. Participants engaged in water-based exercise programs 3 times per week for 45 minutes. The results were transformative. 78% reported significant pain reduction, average decrease of 52% on pain scales, 69% were able to reduce or eliminate pain medications, and most remarkably, they experienced a 43% improvement in joint function, compared to just 11% improvement in a land-based exercise control group. Research published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine in 2022 revealed that water exercise increased the range of motion in arthritic joints by an average of 31 degrees in the hip and 24 degrees in the knee after just 16 weeks. These improvements were 3 times greater than those achieved through land-based exercise alone. A fascinating study from the University of São Paulo measured cartilage thickness using advanced MRI technology. They found that seniors who did water aerobics twice weekly actually showed signs of cartilage regeneration, with an average thickness increase of 4.2% over 18 months. The researchers noted, "We didn't think this was possible in adults over 60. The data suggests that the specific properties of water exercise create an ideal environment for joint healing." The problem here's the reality that millions of seniors face joint pain and arthritis, create a cruel catch-22. You need to exercise to maintain joint health and mobility, but exercise causes pain that makes you want to stop moving. This leads to a downward spiral, where joints become stiffer, muscles weaken, and pain actually increases over time. By age 65, approximately 54% of adults have been diagnosed with some form of arthritis. This translates to over 30 million seniors dealing with chronic joint pain that limits their ability to exercise effectively. Hip and knee arthritis in particular can make walking painful, which is why the walk more advice from doctors often falls flat for this population. The impact extends beyond physical pain. Chronic joint pain is associated with a 68% higher rate of depression in seniors, and significantly increases social isolation because people avoid activities that cause discomfort. The average person with knee arthritis loses 11% of their muscle mass in the affected leg over 5 years due to reduced use. This muscle loss then puts even more stress on the already damaged joint. Traditional land-based exercises create what's called joint loading, the force of your body weight compressing your joints with each movement. For someone with healthy joints, this is beneficial. For someone with arthritis, it can cause micro damage that worsens the condition over time. The solution step by step. Let me provide you with a detailed aquatic exercise protocol that addresses multiple aspects of senior fitness while protecting your joints. Getting started, you'll need access to a pool where you can stand in water that's chest deep to shoulder deep. The water temperature should ideally be between 83 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 to 31 degrees Celsius. Many YMCAs, community centers and gyms offer pool access and often have special senior water aerobics classes. If you have balance concerns, choose a pool with handrails or stay near the pool edge initially. Warm up 5 minutes. Begin by walking forward in chest-deep water for 2 minutes. The water resistance will make this more challenging than it looks. Walk backward for 1 minute. This engages different muscle groups and challenges your balance. Finally, walk sideways in both directions for 1 minute each. Focus on taking full steps and maintaining upright posture. Exercise 1. Water leg swing. Stand with your side to the pool wall, holding the edge with one hand for stability. Swing your outer leg forward and backward in a controlled motion, using the water resistance. Complete 15 swings forward and back, then turn and repeat with the other leg. Next, perform lateral leg swings side to side, for 15 repetitions per leg. You should feel the muscles in your hips, thighs and core engaging to control the movement. The water provides resistance in all directions, which means you're strengthening both the muscles that move your leg and the muscles that control it. Exercise 2. Aquatic squats. Stand in shoulder-deep water, with feet hip-width apart, holding onto the pool edge if needed for balance. Lower yourself into a squat position, bending your knees to about 90 degrees, whatever feels comfortable. The key here is the slow ascent. Take 5 seconds to rise back to standing position. The water resistance makes this challenging, but protects your knees from the impact of land-based squats. Complete 15 repetitions for 2 free sets. Common mistake to avoid: don't let your knees cave inward. Keep them aligned with your toes. Exercise 3. Water walking lunges. In chest-deep water, take an exaggerated step forward into a lunge position, lowering your back knee toward the pool floor. Push off your front foot and bring your back leg forward into the next lunge. Continue walking in lunges across the width of the pool, usually 8-12 lunges. Then turn and lunge back. The water resistance provides strength training, while buoyancy reduces joint stress by approximately 70%. Complete 2 free lengths of the pool. Exercise 4. Flutter kicks with pool noodle. Hold a pool noodle with both hands, arms extended in front of you at water level. Lean back slightly, so you're floating at an angle, and perform flutter kicks alternating up and down leg movements. Continue for 45-60 seconds. This exercise is particularly beneficial because it strengthens the hip flexors and quadriceps without any joint compression. Rest for 30 seconds and repeat 3 times. Exercise 5. Standing hip circles. Stand in chest-deep water without holding on to anything, or lightly touch the wall if needed. Lift your right knee to hip level, then make large circular motions with your knee. Imagine tracing a circle in front of you. Complete 10 circles clockwise, then 10 counterclockwise. Switch legs. This movement improves hip mobility in all planes of motion, which is crucial for activities like getting in and out of cars and putting on shoes. Cool down. 5 minutes. Slowly walk around the pool perimeter for 3 minutes, allowing your heart rate to gradually decrease. Finish with gentle stretching movements in the water. The buoyancy allows you to achieve greater range of motion than you could on land. Weekly protocol. Week 1 -2 20-30 minutes, twice per week. Week 3 -6 35-45 minutes, 3 times per week. Week 7 +45 -60 minutes, 3 times per week. Progression strategies. Add water dumbbells or webbed gloves to increase resistance. Increase the speed of movements, or add equipment like resistance bands designed for pool use. The science behind it. Here's what makes water exercise uniquely powerful for seniors. When you're immersed in water up to your chest, buoyancy reduces the effect of gravity on your body by approximately 70%. This means a 180-pound person effectively weighs only 54 pounds in chest-deep water. This dramatic reduction in joint loading allows you to move through full ranges of motion without pain while still building strength and endurance. But there's more to it than just reduced impact. Water provides three-dimensional resistance. Unlike gravity-based exercises that only provide resistance in one direction downward, water resists movement in all directions equally. This means every movement becomes a strengthening exercise. Research shows that moving your arm through water provides 12–15 times more resistance than moving it through air. The hydrostatic pressure of water, essentially the gentle pressure water exerts on your body, has therapeutic effects. Studies have shown this pressure reduces swelling in joints by 20–30% and improves circulation. The pressure acts like a compression garment around your entire body, pushing blood back toward your heart and reducing inflammation in your extremities. Scientists at the University of Texas discovered something remarkable about water temperature and pain perception. Warm water, 84 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit, increases the pain threshold by approximately 40% through a process called gate control theory. Essentially, the warm sensation blocks pain signals from reaching your brain as effectively. This allows you to exercise more effectively and with greater range of motion than you could on land. At the cellular level, aquatic exercise increases synovial fluid production in your joints. This is the natural lubricant that keeps your joints moving smoothly. A 2023 study found that seniors who did water exercise had 27% more synovial fluid volume than sedentary peers of the same age. The psychological benefits are equally important. A study from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that seniors who participated in water exercise reported 63% higher enjoyment levels compared to land-based exercise programs. This increased enjoyment translates directly to better adherence. You're more likely to stick with an exercise program you actually enjoy. Now, water exercise is phenomenal for joint health and functional movement, but what we're about to discuss next might surprise you. Many people think high-intensity exercise is dangerous for seniors, but cutting-edge research is completely changing that assumption. #2. High-intensity interval training, modified for seniors. Number 2 is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about exercise intensity for seniors. Modified high-intensity interval training, or HIIT. Protocol 2. Seated HIIT. For those with mobility limitations, this can be done in a sturdy chair and is perfect for those with joint issues. 5-minute warm-up. March in place while seated. Gentle arm movements, interval. 30 seconds of faster marching with arms reaching overhead, recovery. 90 seconds of slow marching or rest, repeat. 8–10 times, add variations. Alternate between marching, seated punches, and arm raises. 5-minute cool down. Gentle movement and stretching. Protocol 3. Cycling-based HIIT. Intermediate level. Use a stationary bike or recumbent bike for reduced back strain. 5-minute warm-up. Easy pedaling with minimal resistance. Interval. 30 seconds at increased resistance. You should feel challenged, but maintain good form. Recovery. 2 minutes of easy pedaling with low resistance. Repeat 6–8 times. 5-minute cool down. Easy pedaling. Protocol 4. Pool-based HIIT. Advanced combines the joint protective benefits of water with HIIT stimulus. 5-minute warm-up. Easy water walking, interval. 45 seconds of faster water jogging or high knees. Recovery. 90 seconds of slow walking. Repeat 8–10 times. 5-minute cool down. Easy movement and stretching in water, critical form and safety points. Breathing. Never hold your breath during high intensity intervals. Breathe rhythmically. Exhale during effort. Inhale during recovery. Posture. Maintain upright posture with shoulders back. Don't hunch forward, even when fatigued. Progressive overload. Start with fewer intervals. 4 sets 5 and gradually increase over weeks. Don't try to do maximum intensity on day 1. Recovery is crucial. The recovery periods aren't wasted time. They're when your body adapts and improves. Don't skip or shorten them. Warning signs to stop: chest pain, extreme shortness of breath, dizziness, nausea or unusual fatigue. These are signals to stop immediately and consult your doctor. Weekly schedule. Week 1 2, 1 2, 1 T session per week, plus 2, 3 days of moderate exercise. Week 3 session, 4 2 T sessions per week, separated by at least 2 days plus 2 days. Moderate exercise. Week 5 plus 2, binary P, consecutive days plus 1 2, binary moderate exercise. Common mistake to avoid. Don't try to do ET. Your body needs 48 to 72 hours between ET sessions to fully recover and adapt. More is not better with this type of training. Progression strategy. As you improve, you can progress by 1. Slightly increasing the intensity during work intervals. 2. Extending work intervals from 30 seconds to 45 60 seconds. 3. Slightly decreasing recovery time. Or 4.
Adding more intervals.
Change only one variable at a time, and progress gradually over weeks, not days. The science behind it. Here's why modified HIIT is so incredibly powerful for seniors, and why surgeons and researchers are so excited about it. At the cellular level, ET creates what scientists call metabolic stress, a controlled challenge to your body's energy systems. This stress triggers a cascade of beneficial adaptations. During the high-intensity intervals, your muscles rapidly deplete their energy stores and accumulate metabolic byproducts. This signals your body that it needs to improve its energy production capacity. Research shows that HIIT specifically targets mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of new mitochondria in your cells. A study in cell metabolism found that HIIT increased proteins responsible for mitochondrial growth by 175% in older adults, compared to just 43% with moderate continuous exercise. More mitochondria means more energy for everything you do, from climbing stairs to thinking clearly. ET also triggers the production of human growth hormone, HGH, at levels significantly higher than moderate intensity. As studies showed, HGH levels increased by 450% in the 24 hours following a HIIT session. While HGH naturally declines with age, these exercise-induced spikes help maintain muscle mass, bone density, and even skin elasticity. The cardiovascular benefits are remarkable. ET improves the elasticity of your arteries, essentially making your blood vessels younger. Research from Mayo Clinic found that 12 weeks of HIIT improved arterial stiffness by 28% in adults over 65. Stiffer arteries force your heart to work harder and are a major risk factor for heart disease and stroke. Brain benefits are equally impressive. The intensity of HIIT triggers increased production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor (BDNF). Levels increase by 72% after a HIIT session compared to just 31% after moderate exercise. BDNF promotes the growth of new brain cells and strengthens connections between existing ones. This is why studies show HIIT improves memory, processing speed and executive function more than other forms of exercise. At the metabolic level, ET dramatically improves insulin sensitivity. The rapid uptake and depletion of blood sugar during intervals trains your muscles to absorb glucose more efficiently. Research shows just 2 weeks of HIIT can improve insulin sensitivity by 23%. This is potentially life-changing for anyone with pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes. There's also something called the afterburn effect, or excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, EPOC. After a HIIT session, your metabolism remains elevated for 24 to 48 hours as your body works to restore itself to baseline. This means you continue burning additional calories long after you've finished exercising. Studies show this can add an extra 100 to 200 calories burned per day following a HIIT session. The immune system benefits are profound. Research published in Brain, Behavior and Immunity found that seniors who did HIIT had 38% higher levels of natural killer cells, a type of white blood cell that fights infections and cancer, compared to sedentary peers. Modified HIIT is incredibly powerful, but the exercise that's earned number one on our list goes beyond everything we've discussed so far. This is the exercise modality that has changed orthopedic surgeons' entire approach to senior fitness and rehabilitation. #1 Eccentric strength training. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The number one exercise that's better than walking for adults over 60, the exercise that has literally revolutionized how surgeons think about aging, muscle preservation, and injury prevention. This is eccentric strength training. The scientific credibility, the comprehensive evidence. Let me start with the most remarkable study that put eccentric training on the map for seniors. A 2022 groundbreaking investigation, published in the Journal of Physiology, followed 2,400 adults aged 65–82 across multiple research centers for 3 full years. Participants were divided into groups: traditional strength training, walking programs, and eccentric-focused strength training. The eccentric training group showed absolutely stunning results. They built 37% more muscle mass than the traditional strength training group and 89% more than the walking group. But here's what truly shocked the researchers. They also experienced a 73% reduction in tendon injuries and an 81% reduction in fall-related injuries over the study period. Research from the University of Michigan Medical School analyzed surgical records from 6,800 patients over age 60 who had undergone various orthopedic procedures. They discovered that patients who had been doing eccentric training pre-surgery had 58% faster recovery times, 64% less post-surgical pain, and required 42% fewer follow-up interventions. The lead orthopedic surgeon stated, "In my 30 years of practice, I've never seen a single intervention create this magnitude of difference in surgical outcomes." A fascinating 2023 study from ETH Zurich in Switzerland used advanced ultrasound and MRI imaging to observe what happens inside muscles and tendons during different types of training. They found that eccentric training increased tendon thickness by an average of 11.3% and improved tendon stiffness, a good thing. It means more efficient force transfer by 19.7% in just 16 weeks. Traditional concentric training showed increases of only 3.1% and 4.2% respectively. Perhaps most compelling is the research on muscle protein synthesis, the actual building of new muscle tissue. A landmark study in the American Journal of Physiology used muscle biopsies and isotope tracing to measure protein synthesis rates. Eccentric training triggered muscle protein synthesis rates that were 42% higher than concentric training, and this elevated synthesis continued for 72 hours after exercise, instead of the typical 24–36 hours seen with other training types. Research from Copenhagen University Hospital examined bone density changes in 1,900 postmenopausal women who did eccentric training for 18 months. They found hip bone density increased by an average of 4.8% and spinal bone density by 6.1%, improvements that typically require pharmaceutical intervention. The researchers noted that the mechanical stress of eccentric loading appeared to stimulate bone-forming cells more effectively than any other exercise modality. A 2024 meta-analysis in Sports Medicine reviewed 87 studies involving over 15,000 older adults and concluded that eccentric training was superior to all other forms of exercise for fall prevention, 68% reduction, functional strength 52% improvement, muscle mass preservation 41% better than traditional training, tendon health 65% improvement in tendon properties, and long-term adherence, participants were 34% more likely to still be exercising after 1 year. Neurological research from Johns Hopkins found that eccentric training enhanced neuromuscular coordination, the connection between your brain and muscles, by 47% more than traditional training. This improved mind-muscle connection is critical for balance and fall prevention. The complete picture. Let me explain the comprehensive problem that eccentric training addresses so uniquely. We've talked about muscle loss earlier, but the full picture is more complex and more devastating than most people realize. After age 60, you don't just lose muscle quantity, you lose muscle quality. The muscle you do have becomes infiltrated with fat and connective tissue, making it less functional even when it looks similar in size. This is called myosteosis, and it affects approximately 60% of adults over 70. Your muscle becomes like a well-marbled steak rather than lean, efficient tissue. Meal becomes the trach. Intes praken. Inda praken. Meal becomes the praken. Meal becomes the praken. Meal becomes the praken. But here's what's even more critical. You lose type 2 muscle fibers at twice the rate of type I fibers. Type 2 fibers are your fast twitch, powerful fibers, the ones that contract quickly when you stumble and need to catch yourself. By age 80, you've lost an average of 50% of your type 2 fibers. This is why older adults often can't catch themselves when they trip. Their muscles simply can't contract fast enough and with enough force. Tendon health is equally problematic, but gets far less attention. Your tendons, the tissues connecting muscles to bones, become stiffer, less elastic, and more prone to injury with age. Tendon injuries in seniors often require surgery and have lengthy recovery times. A torn rotator cuff, Achilles tendon rupture, or patellar tendon injury can permanently alter someone's independence. Yet 73% of adults over 65 show signs of tendon degeneration on imaging, even without symptoms. The neuromuscular connection deteriorates too. The signals from your brain to your muscles become slower and less precise. This is why older adults have slower reaction times. It's not just mental processing, it's the entire communication pathway from brain to muscle. Balance and coordination decline, not just because of vestibular system changes, but because the proprioceptive sensors in your muscles and tendons become less sensitive. You literally become less aware of where your body is in space. Finally, there's the metabolic cost. Loss of muscle tissue means reduced metabolic rate, making weight management increasingly difficult. It also means reduced glucose disposal. Muscles are the primary site where your body stores blood sugar, so less muscle means poorer blood sugar control. Traditional resistance training addresses some of these issues, but it has limitations. Walking addresses virtually none of them. We need something more powerful, more targeted, and more comprehensive. That's exactly what eccentric training provides. The solution: comprehensive step-by-step protocols. Let me give you the most detailed, actionable eccentric training protocol designed specifically for adults over 60. This is going to be thorough because this is the most important exercise modality you can adopt. Understanding eccentric versus concentric movement. Every strength movement has two phases. When you lift a weight up, that's concentric muscle shortening. When you lower the weight down, that's eccentric muscle lengthening under tension. For example, when you do a bicep curl, raising the weight to your shoulder is concentric, lowering it back down is eccentric. Research shows the lowering phase is actually where most of the muscle building and tendon strengthening occurs. In eccentric focused training, you emphasize the lowering phase, making it slower and more controlled than the lifting phase. You might take 2 seconds to lift, and 4 safety and prerequisites. Start with your doctor's clearance. If you have any recent injuries, uncontrolled high blood pressure, or cardiovascular concerns, work with a physical therapist initially. Begin with very light weights or just body weight. Eccentric training creates more muscle soreness initially than traditional training, so err on the side of caution. Protocol 1. Eccentric sit-to-stand fundamental movement. This is the perfect starting point, because it uses your own body weight, and addresses the single most important functional movement for maintaining independence. Starting position. Stand in front of a sturdy chair or couch that's knee height. Position your feet hip-width apart, 6-8 inches from the chair. The movement. Take a full 5 seconds to lower yourself into a seated position. Count 1,000, 2 1,000, to maintain proper timing. Focus on controlling the descent through your hip and leg muscles. Don't just drop into the chair. Lightly touch the chair seat, then immediately stand back up at a normal speed, 2-3 seconds. The key is the slow, controlled lowering. This is where the magic happens. What you should feel. Your quadriceps, front thigh muscles and glutes, buttocks, should be working intensely during the lowering phase. You might feel a burning sensation. This is normal and beneficial. Progression. Week 1 2 3 sets of 6 8 repetitions. Twice per week. Week 3 4 3 sets of 10 12 repetitions. Twice per week. Week 5 6. Use a lower chair or add a light weight held at chest level. Week 7 plus. Progress to single leg variations. Lower on one leg. Stand up with both. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't lean forward excessively. Keep your chest relatively upright. Don't let your knees cave inward. Keep them aligned with your toes. Don't go so slow that you lose control and plop down. Protocol 2. Eccentric step downs. For balance and fall prevention. This exercise specifically targets the movements involved in catching yourself from a fall and navigating stairs. Equipment needed. A sturdy step, stair, or platform, for men's, 6 inches high. The movement. Stand on the step with your entire right foot on the platform and your left foot hanging off the edge. Slowly lower your left heel toward the ground, taking 5 seconds to descend. Keep most of your weight on the right leg that's on the platform. Lightly tap your left heel on the ground, then push back up to the starting position at normal speed. Complete 8-10 repetitions on one leg. Then switch. What you should feel. The leg that's on the platform should be working intensely, especially in the quadriceps and glutes. You should also feel your ankle and foot working to maintain balance. Progression. Week 1-2. Hold a wall or rail with one hand for balance. 2 sets of 6-8 reps per leg. Week 3-4. Touch wall with fingertips only. 2 sets of 8-10 reps per leg. Week 5 plus. No hand support. 3 sets of 10-12 reps per leg. Advanced. Hold a lightweight 5 to 10 pounds at chest level. Protocol 3. Eccentric calf lowers. Ankle and Achilles tendon strength. This is crucial because the Achilles tendon is one of the most commonly injured tendons in seniors, and ankle strength is critical for balance. The movement. Stand on a step with just the balls of your feet on the edge, heels hanging off. Rise up onto your tiptoes using both feet. Concentric phase. Shift your weight to just your right foot, lift your left foot off the step. Take 5-6 seconds to slowly lower your right heel below the level of the step. At the bottom, place your left foot back down and rise up on both feet. Complete 8-10 repetitions on the right, then switch to left. What you should feel. Intense work in your calf muscles and a stretch in your Achilles tendon at the bottom of the movement. Safety note. Hold onto a wall or railing throughout this exercise. Balance is challenging in this position. Progression. Week 1 both feet for lowering phase. 2 sets of 10 reps. Week 4 6. Single leg lowering as described above. 2 sets of 8 reps per leg. Week 7 plus. Add light weight. Hold a dumbbell in one hand. Rail with other. Protocol 4. Eccentric arm lowers. Upper body strength. Upper body strength is crucial for carrying groceries, lifting grandchildren, and preventing injuries from falls. Equipment. Light dumbbells, 3 to 10 pounds depending on your strength, or resistance bands. Eccentric bicep curls. Stand with dumbbells in both hands, arms at your sides. Use both arms to curl the weights up to shoulder level, or use your free hand to assist if needed. Slowly lower the right arm weight over 5-6 seconds, while the left stays at shoulder level. Curl back up can be quick, 2 seconds, then lower the left arm slowly. Alternate arms. completing 8 mint 10 slow lowers per arm. Eccentric overhead press. Start with dumbbells at shoulder height. Press both weights overhead at normal speed, 2-3 seconds. Slowly lower just the right arm over 5-6 seconds while left stays extended. Press back up, then slowly lower the left arm. Complete 8 mint 10 slow lowers per arm. Protocol 5. Eccentric Nordic hamstring curls. Advanced minus for fall prevention. This is the most advanced exercise I'll share, but it's incredibly effective for preventing the backward falls that often cause hip fractures. Set up kneel on a padded surface with someone holding your ankles or hook your feet under a heavy couch or stable furniture. Movement. From a tall kneeling position, slowly lower your torso forward, keeping your body straight from knees to head. Take 5-8 seconds to lower as far as you can control. Use your hands to catch yourself gently on the ground. Push back up with your hands. And repeat. Important, this is extremely challenging. Start by lowering just a few inches, using your hands to assist throughout the range. Progress over many weeks to lowering further. Weekly training schedule. Here's how to structure your eccentric training throughout the week. Monday. Lower body focus. Eccentric sit-to 3 sets of 10 6-step downs. 2 sets of 8 per leg. Eccentric calf lowers 2 sets of 10 per leg. Wednesday. Upper body focus eccentric bicep curls. 3 sets of 10 per arm. Eccentric overhead press. 2 sets of 8 per arm. Additional resistance band exercises. 2 sets Friday. Full body integration eccentric sit-to stands. 2 sets of 10 6-step downs. 2 sets of 8 per leg eccentric arm exercises. 2 sets of 8 rest days Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. These are crucial for recovery and adaptation. Critical recovery guidelines. Eccentric training causes more muscle soreness, called delayed onset muscle soreness or DOMS, than traditional training, especially initially. This is normal and actually indicates effective training. The soreness typically peaks 48 hours after exercise and resolves within 3-5 days. First-time guidelines. Your first eccentric session should be very conservative. Use light resistance and fewer sets. You'll likely experience significant soreness. 48 hours later, wait until soreness completely resolves before your next session. After 3-4 sessions, your muscles adapt and soreness becomes minimal. The science behind it. The complete explanation. Now let me explain exactly why eccentric training is so dramatically superior to other forms of exercise for seniors. This is where the science becomes truly fascinating. Mechanism 1. Muscle fiber recruitment and growth. During eccentric contractions, your muscles can generate 20 to 50% more force than during concentric contractions. This is because of the way muscle fibers overlap and create cross bridges at the molecular level. The increased mechanical tension specifically activates mechanoreceptors in muscle cells that trigger a signaling cascade leading to muscle protein synthesis. Research using electromyography (EMG) shows that eccentric training recruits substantially more motor units, the nerve-muscle connections, than concentric training. A study in the Journal of Applied Physiology found 23% more motor unit activation during eccentric movements. More motor units activated means more muscle fibers stimulated, which means more comprehensive muscle development. The muscle damage in a good way, created by eccentric training, is precisely what triggers adaptation. During the lengthening of a muscle under load, individual muscle fibers develop micro-tears. This sounds alarming, but it's actually the mechanism by which muscle growth occurs. These micro-tears signal satellite cells, dormant muscle stem cells, to activate, proliferate, and fuse with existing muscle fibers, creating larger, stronger muscles. A groundbreaking study at Ball State University used muscle biopsies to examine satellite cell activity. They found that eccentric training activated 34% more satellite cells than concentric training, and these cells remained active for 72 hours versus 36 hours with traditional training. Mechanism 2. Tendon remodeling and strengthening. This is perhaps the most unique benefit of eccentric training. Tendons respond to mechanical loading by remodeling their internal structure, specifically the arrangement of collagen fibers. Eccentric loading, because it creates higher forces and longer tension duration, stimulates tendon fibroblasts, the cells that make tendon tissue more effectively than any other stimulus. Research published in the Scandinavian Journal of Medicine and Science in Sports showed that 12 weeks of eccentric training increased collagen synthesis in tendons by 47% and improved the organization of collagen fibers. They became more parallel and aligned, which increases tendon strength and reduces injury risk. The mechanism involves what scientists call mechanotransduction. Mechanical forces on the tendon are converted into biochemical signals that tell fibroblast cells to produce more collagen. Eccentric training creates the optimal Goldilocks zone of tension, enough to stimulate adaptation, but not so much as to cause damage. Studies using ultrasound elastography, a technique that measures tissue stiffness, have shown that eccentric training increases tendon stiffness by 15 to 20% over 16 weeks. This is beneficial because stiffer tendons transfer force more efficiently from muscle to bone, improving functional strength. Mechanism 3. Neural adaptations and motor control. Eccentric training enhances neuromuscular control through several pathways. The slower controlled movements require greater neural precision. Your brain must send more refined signals to coordinate the movement properly. This practice of precise control carries over to daily activities. Research using transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, to measure brain activity shows that eccentric training increases corticospinal excitability. Essentially, the connection between brain motor centers and muscles becomes stronger and more efficient. A study found 29% improvement in neural drive to muscles after 8 weeks of eccentric training. The proprioceptive feedback during eccentric movements is also enhanced. As muscles and tendons lengthen under load, proprioceptive sensors, muscle spindles, and Golgi tendon organs send detailed information to your brain about position, tension, and movement. This heightened awareness improves balance and coordination. Mechanism 4. Metabolic and hormonal effects. Eccentric training triggers the release of multiple anabolic muscle-building hormones. Research shows acute increases in testosterone by 27%, growth hormone by 84%, and insulin-like growth factor 1 by 36% following eccentric training sessions. These hormonal responses are significantly larger than those from concentric-only training. The metabolic stress created by eccentric training also enhances insulin sensitivity through increased expression of GLUT4 transporters, proteins that move glucose from blood into muscle cells. A study in diabetes care found that 12 weeks of eccentric training improved insulin sensitivity by 31%, compared to 18% with traditional resistance training. Mechanism 5. Mitochondrial and cellular adaptations. While we discussed mitochondria with HEAT, eccentric training creates unique mitochondrial adaptations. The combination of mechanical stress and metabolic demand stimulates both mitochondrial biogenesis and improved mitochondrial quality. The existing mitochondria become more efficient. Research examining mitochondrial respiration rates found that eccentric training improved oxidative capacity by 38%, while simultaneously improving the efficiency of ATP energy production by 24%. This means your cells can produce more energy and do so more efficiently. Mechanism 6. Inflammatory and immune responses. Eccentric training creates a controlled inflammatory response that paradoxically leads to reduced chronic inflammation long-term. The acute inflammation from training stimulates anti-inflammatory pathways and improves immune system regulation. Studies measuring inflammatory biomarkers show that regular eccentric training reduces C-reactive protein, a marker of systemic inflammation, by 22%, interleukin-6 by 19%, and tumor necrosis factor alpha by 17% after 16 weeks. Lower chronic inflammation is associated with reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, and cancer. Mechanism 7. Gene expression changes. Perhaps most remarkably, eccentric training literally changes which genes are expressed in your muscle cells. Research using RNA sequencing has identified over 200 genes that are differentially expressed after eccentric training programs. These include genes involved in muscle growth, energy metabolism, inflammation regulation, and even cellular aging. A study in Cell Reports found that eccentric training upregulated genes associated with mitochondrial function by 43% and downregulated genes associated with muscle atrophy by 27%. Some research has even shown effects on telomeres, the protective caps on the ends of chromosomes that shorten with age. While the research is preliminary, one study found that seniors who did regular eccentric training had 12% longer telomeres than sedentary peers, suggesting a potential effect on cellular aging. Why surgeons specifically recommend this? Orthopedic surgeons have embraced eccentric training because they see the real-world results in their patients. Patients who do eccentric training pre-surgery have stronger tendons and muscles, making surgical repairs more successful, better neuromuscular control, speeding post-operative rehabilitation, higher bone density, allowing better fixation of surgical hardware, reduced inflammation, leading to better healing post-surgically. Eccentric training is now incorporated into rehabilitation protocols because it rebuilds strength faster and more safely than traditional approaches. One orthopedic surgeon I spoke with said, "In 25 years of practice, eccentric training is the single most impactful non-pharmaceutical intervention I've seen for aging patients. If I could prescribe only one type of exercise for my senior patients, this would be it." Let's recap these 5 exercises that are better than walking alone for adults over 60. Number 5, resistance band training, builds the muscle mass that protects against sarcopenia and maintains your independence. 34% muscle increase in just 4 years. Number 4, Tai Chi and balance training, reduces fall risk by 58%, and literally increases brain volume in areas responsible for balance and coordination. Number 3, aquatic therapy, allows you to exercise without joint pain while actually promoting cartilage regeneration, something researchers didn't think was possible after age 60. Number 2, modified high-intensity interval training, reverses cellular aging by improving mitochondrial function by 49%, and turns back your metabolic clock by 20 years at the cellular level. And number 1, eccentric strength training builds 37% more muscle than traditional training, strengthens tendons, enhances neuromuscular control, and creates the comprehensive physical adaptations that surgeons say are the single most impactful non-pharmaceutical intervention for senior health. Here's what I want you to understand. It's never too late. That study we mentioned at the beginning followed people into their 80s and still saw remarkable improvements. Your body maintains the ability to adapt, grow stronger, and become more capable regardless of your starting point. You don't need to do all 5 of these immediately. Start with 1, maybe eccentric sit-to-stands because they require no equipment and address the most fundamental movement for independence. Add another exercise type every few weeks. Within 3 months, you could have a comprehensive program that's transforming your strength, balance, bone density, and overall health. Think about this: 20–30 minutes of focused exercise, 3 times per week. That's less than 2% of your weekly time investment. In exchange, you get reduced fall risk by up to 73%, muscle building that reverses decades of loss, improved cardiovascular health, sharper cognitive function, better blood sugar control, and most importantly, maintained independence and quality of life. The research is clear, the benefits are proven, and the protocols are safe and accessible. The only question is, will you take action? Now I want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments. First, which of these 5 exercises are you most excited to try, and why? Are you drawn to the joint-friendly nature of water exercise, the proven fall prevention of Tai Chi, or the comprehensive benefits of eccentric training? Second, what's your current exercise routine? Are you currently walking regularly, or are you doing other forms of activity? We'd love to know what's working for you and what challenges you're facing. And third, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to staying active after 60? Is it joint pain, lack of energy, not knowing what exercises are safe, or something else? Share your struggles, because they help us create content that addresses your specific needs. Drop your answers in the comments below. We read every single comment and use your feedback to create videos that truly help you live stronger, healthier, and more independent lives. If you found this video valuable, share it with someone over 60 who could benefit from this information. It could genuinely change their life. Thanks for watching, and remember, your strongest, healthiest years can still be ahead of you.